Was this a nefarious attack or was this idiocy? So, guys, a lot of you know that there was a van that was stopped yesterday. Rather, it got pulled over. And when this van got pulled over, the driver decided that he was going to try to play cute game with NYPD. So supposedly he couldn't open up the back of the van. He didn't have his keys. And then I think he tried to toss the keys, which I think he successfully did, because the fire department had to be called to force the back of the van up. Now, the reason why the fire department was called was because the cops, after stopping the driver, said they smelled a strong odor of gasoline. When they asked the driver what was inside of it, he was playing stupid. He lost the keys, and the fire department had to force the back of the truck open. All right. So once they forced the back of the truck open, what they saw next, they couldn't believe. Now, this amount of propane tanks is definitely something to question. But I'm thinking that this guy was just being greedy or an idiot. Now, in the back of this truck, they found 75 propane tanks. 20-pound propane tanks, excuse me. 75 of them. That's a lot. Not to mention the 75 gallons of gasoline and 10 gallons of diesel that were found in the back of this. So now, of course, guys, this is a big device in the making. You leave that on the street or you park it in the street somewhere, it can take out, if I'm not mistaken, half a block, a city block to a whole city block. Depends on where it is and conditions and all this other shit. Nonetheless, that's a decent device to create a lot of damage. So you're looking at it on one end. The other end I'm looking at it as people here in New York, they just do dumb shit all the time. I mean, the most stupidest thing, and they do it for greed or they do it out of stupidity. Haven't really decided yet. But a lot what's going on, especially here in the city, because they can get away with it, they will do it. Now, obviously, when they got pulled over, the reason why the driver was playing stupid, because he knew what he had in the back was definitely A, suspicious, or B, he's definitely going to get hooked up because of the amount of propane tanks he had. Now, to move that many propane tanks, if I'm not mistaken, is illegal. But you have to have a permit to move a certain amount anyway, and I think he was way over that amount. Plus, he had diesel fuel and gasoline. So one opens up the back of that truck, you're looking at it going, something is very suspicious here. So again, I'm leaning more towards the side of him being stupid. Now, the reason why I'm leaning that way and I'm not completely over is because the driver's name in two separate articles had two separate names. Now, the driver in one article, name was Saeed Khalid, and I think he had like two other Muslim names at the end. And in another article was Cesar Estrada. Those are two totally different names from two totally different cultures. So the fact that they went with both with one name, the driver being two separate people, if you will. Now, what I think happened was the driver initially got pulled over because his halal truck cart separated and wind up hitting another car. The cops chased him down. I don't think they chased him down. I just don't think he was aware that it came loose. And when they tracked him down, or caught up to him, excuse me, they pulled the driver over. Now, the driver of the vehicle could have very well been a Cesar Estrada, but the owner of the halal truck could have definitely been Saeed Khalid. So you have a driver who's driving these things around and delivering, who's probably delivering a lot of these propane tanks to these halal trucks. That's the others. That's why I'm like, I'm not 100% thinking it's a terror attack. I'm also thinking the stupidity, but the amount of propane tanks, gasoline, and diesel, I think, is because he's delivering the gasoline to the generators that run a lot of these halal trucks, the carts, if you will. A lot of them do use generators during the day, so they do need to be refueled with gasoline. The propane tanks are to run the stoves inside these halal trucks. So you have to keep in mind, guys, that this guy was probably running an illegal business, delivering this stuff around, and he happened to be picking up a halal cart and taking it back to wherever he was going to take it back to. Now, again, in New York City, there are a lot of illegal businesses going on, and the city ignores a lot of them until something like this happens. And then they start diving a little deeper. Meanwhile, I try to open up an LLC, and the state is breaking my balls. But New York City, you can run illegal businesses all day, and you never get caught until something bad happens. And when something bad happens, then they dive deep. Now, again, the other side of me saying that it was stupidity, because here in New York City, guys, stupidity reigns supreme. It just does. The amount of stupid calls we go on for the stupid things that people do is insane. And I'll tell you one story. A few years ago, we responded to smoke in a building. So we're all getting dressed thinking we're going to a fire, because there was a lot of smoke in the building on multiple floors. And people on the phone said it was heavy. So now we think we're going to work. We're like, all right, let's get some. We get there and we see some smoke pushing out of the building. We jump out of the rig. I stand on the back step, getting ready to pull hose off, and the truck company that goes inside goes, "Oh, wait a second, somebody's barbecuing in the hallway." So the guy's barbecuing in the hallway by a window. That's where we saw the smoke coming from. But a lot of the smoke was actually being pushed up the stairs and not so much out the window. So he thought by barbecuing next to the window that the smoke was going to drift right out there and not go upstairs. He flooded, if not banked down, the upper floors with smoke. Stupidity. We see a lot of stupid shit in the city, especially if you're a city worker. If you're a cop, fireman, EMT, even a correction officer, sanitation, you see a lot of stupid nonsense. So we also keep that in the back of our head, that this guy, again, was doing something stupid, but I also think he was running a side business and that it wasn't a terror attack. Now, again, the name Saeed and Cesar Estrada, two totally different names, but I think Cesar Estrada was the delivery guy, delivering the propane tanks, the gasoline, and the diesel fuel to these halal trucks or food carts. And he just so happened to be pulling Khalid Saeed's food truck back to wherever the hell he was going to pull it to. I don't think it was a terror attack. I think if anybody's stating that it was, tell him calm the fuck down. Smack him in the face a couple times, go calm the fuck down. This is what it could have been. And that's what we're going to go with first before we start thinking terror attack. Other than that, guys, this is the Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching.